Hey everybody, welcome back. I am bored. COVID made me bored, and today at the table, I am doing a quick playthrough of MegaMan NT Warrior, the trading card game. This is a trading card game that is no longer in production. I believe it's 2004. Let me just quickly double check here. I think it's 2004 or at some point. It's based on the MegaMan NT cartoon or anime. I've never watched it. My only point of reference is Mega Man 2, the Nintendo NES game, which was an awesome game. So that's my only, again, a lot of my games very theme based. And when I saw that there was, or when I was dumpster diving with old trading card games, I came across Mega Man. I thought, oh, pretty neat. Now, I don't think you'll be able to find any starter packs except for maybe online or eBay. And in some places, it's the price isn't terrible. You could probably get away with purchasing at least booster boxes if you really wanted to. But I found the online print and play version, which was perfect for my needs. Very similar to the way I approached the Exceed Street Fighter because I couldn't find it in stores or in my local gaming stores. I just thought, oh, print and play, give it a try, see if I like it. If I like it, maybe I'll buy it. I saw Mega Man NT online for print and play, and I thought, I'll do it. I'll give it a try, see if I like it. And for the most part, it's an interesting card game. I don't think I'd invest any more money into a booster box or anything online or even eBay. But what I have here is, I'm happy enough. So I actually have Mega Man himself, right here in his card. And I have him up against Torchman. So it is a head-to-head battle where you are playing resources and event cards, and then you will be charging up your warrior or your net navi, as they're called, to beat down your opponent's health, which is represented by their stack of cards, their deck, down to 0. And I think standard rules are a 60 card deck per player or per character, but the print and play only gave me 30, which is fine. And that's more than enough. It's a quick game when you only have 30 cards for your health. So I guess the premise is based on the show, and I've never watched it. You are sort of the controller of a net navi. The net navi is sort of your cyberspace avatar, and you're doing battle with other cyberspace avatar warriors and protecting cyberspace from these villains. I think a typical anime theme. And with your character, you get to choose one character. They've got a couple stats on them. You'll see, aside from the artwork, you'll see it has Mega Man. He's a net warrior, and you can only have one net warrior to control. And there's a couple stats on the left side. On the top right side, you'll see is their emblem, and that is important when you have cards that make reference as to your emblem. And you'll see the stats here denoted by S, D, and B. The first one is your strength, and that is obviously your strength value when you're attacking, your defense value or your shielding value, and your blast value, which is sort of like a charge up. If you ever remember playing Mega Man 2, you hold down the A or B button and you charge up your blaster and you let go of a more powerful shot. So that's what that represents there. And your opponent has something similar. In this situation, they're actually identical in terms of their stats. This one's Torchman. He has a different emblem, but all his stats are the same. I think with other net navis, they can have varying values depending who they are. But this is what I got with the print and play, so that is what I'm working with. In your deck of cards, you will have a variety of different cards that you can utilize, as well as different stats. This is a resource card. Resource cards you'll be playing during your resource step, and typically they offer you the ability to play other cards which have a resource requirement. So in this situation, first of all, you'll notice that the quality of this is terrible for the print and play, but it's okay. It gets me by. You'll see that there is a value here, which is called the destiny value, which is relating to your blast. that you can do during the game, and I'll explain that later. There's a color for this card. It's a red resource card, has a name, some flavor text. It has a resource requirement, and this is where you want to pay attention to this sort of bar along here, and it could be one of several things. It could be an emblem requirement. In this case, you'll see this terrible looking pixelated emblem of Mega Man. So in order to play this resource, I need to have at least one card already present in my resource or my NetNavi that has this emblem. Alternatively, you may see other requirements such as the amount of energy you need to play this resource or a type of resource color that's already in play in order to play resource. And it'll make more sense as I play along. And you typically have an ability, in this case it's spend, where during your main phase you are able to spend this card or discard this card for the effect that it shows. Another example here would be this resource. And you'll see that this resource, again, has a destiny number. It has a resource requirement, which is down here. So the resource requirement you'll see here is typically an emblem or a resource color requirement. And then down here, you will have an energy requirement. So your NetNavi has to have a minimum number of energy in your energy pool or energy gauge in order to play this card. In this case would be 2. Another type of card is an event card, which is sort of during your main phase you can play. It's sort of a one-off right from your hand into play, do the effect, and then discard it. It also has a destiny number, some card description, a requirement. In this case here, you'll see that in order to play this event card, you need to have a resource, a green resource, in play already, and it requires 2, you have to have 2 energy in your power gauge in order to play this card. And the last type of card is called a battle chip. Battle chip you can play once during your main phase, and this is typically a charge or augmentation to your strength, to add to your strength to give you more firepower. And you'll see that it's a different color. It's not of any particular color. It has also a blast destiny number here. It has the battle chip description as well as some flavor text, and as well as the effect that takes place when you play this battle chip. And you'll see that the requirement here is that you have to have at least 3 energy in your power bar or your power gauge, and you also have to have 2 red resources in play in order to play this card. So gameplay is very straightforward. You will be basically taking turns, powering up your NetNavi, playing resources on your turn, and then there will be a main phase where you will be playing event cards, spending any resources that you have, and playing any battle chips that you have to power up your NetNavi's strength. And during that main phase, it's sort of a back and forth play. You would be playing an eligible card. Your opponent would play an eligible card, such as powering up their defense. And then once you've declared that you're done, you would then tally up the amount of power for the attacker versus the amount of defense for the defender. And then you would switch places in terms of attacking, defending. And that would be during the battle phase in which you tally up your power. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do a quick run through of this. You would have a starting hand of 4. So Mega Man will have his starting hand of 4. We'll put his stack here. And in terms of the field of play, beside your NetNavi, you have a total of 4 spots. You have to imagine it. There's usually a playmat that comes with this. I didn't bother printing it out because this is the kind of thing where you don't really need to remember it, or you don't really need reference to it, you just remember it. So 2 spots on the left, 2 spots on the right for resource cards. And then at the bottom beneath your NetNavi would be your power gauge up to a maximum of 5 power. So we'll just draw 4 cards for Torchman. And we'll just put that over here for now. And we can start. We'll start with Mega Man because he's Mega Man. And at the beginning, you have the draw phase. So the very first thing is you'll be taking the top card of your deck and placing it into your power gauge, which is underneath. And you are allowed up to a maximum of 5. If at any time you have maximum 5 and you need to replenish, you would be taking the furthest right a card in your power gauge and discarding it. So you're basically wasting a card. Then after that, you draw a card in your hand. So I've got these cards in my hand, and if you have more than 5, you need to immediately discard down to 5 cards. So you'll notice I've sleeved these because when I did the print and play, they're very thin. I basically decided to reinforce it with some unused Pokemon cards that I have. So they actually have a nice shuffle and a nice feel to it. So it's actually pretty okay. So you see I've got a battle chip, I've got resource cards that I can spend. So the next thing would be the resource phase, in which case I can play any number up to a maximum of 4 of resources I have as long as I meet the requirements. So we'll just use this as an example. It's not over yet. I have a resource, no requirements in terms of existing in-play cards, and no energy requirements. So as of right now, I only have an energy of 1, so I can play this one, and I'll put it right beside in one of the slots. So you'll see this one, which is also a resource, a red resource, where the opponent, in order for me to play this resource, I need at least 2 energy in my power gauge, and I don't, so I cannot play that. I do have another, it's not over yet, so you can only have one unique resource in play at any given time, so I cannot play this one. And we've got this one, which is Rich Kid. And it is a resource, no resource requirements, no energy requirements for that, so I can also play that, and I'll play that there. So, at this stage, MegaMan has completed his resource step, and now we go into the main phase, and this is a sort of back and forth between both players, starting with the attacker, and MegaMan is the attacker. We can play any eligible event cards, which I don't have any. I can no longer play any resource cards, so that's done, but I do have a battle chip, in which I can use. I can also spend resources. So every card or every resource that I've played, they have a spend ability. So for example, this one, it's not over yet. If I spend this card, I get to draw a card. So what I would do is, let's say I want to do that, I would spend this by discarding this card, and then I would draw a card from the top of my deck. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave as is. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take a look and see if I can play a battle chip. I cannot play this battle chip because I need 2 energy and I only have 1. So I'm just going to leave that as is. The next thing I could do is, if I had enough energy, I can do what's called a blast. A blast, I'll be getting to that very soon, is where you take a look at your blast value, and that's the number of cards in your power gauge, starting from the most right side card, to burn or to flip over, and you would choose the card with the highest destiny value. The destiny value is the number at the top. You would ignore everything else. You'd only focus on the value at the top when you're doing a blast. And you would choose the highest one. In this case, I would probably choose this one if it was. And I would add that to the strength value on my net navi, which is 2, so a total of 4. But in this case, I can't because I only have 1 card in my power gauge, so I'm unable to do a blast. And this is typical of any first round, first turn. You really don't build up enough momentum until a little bit later. So there's no declaration of battle because at the end of the day, MegaMan's strength is 2, Torchman's defense is 2. They negate each other. But if MegaMan were to do something, if he were to play a battle chip, Torchman has an opportunity to also play something, a battle chip. So in this case, he could play this event card if he could meet the resources. So during the main phase, again, it's back and forth. The attacker plays a card or plays a card that's eligible. Then the defender has an opportunity to do the same thing. They go back and forth until they both declare, I'm done. And then that's it. Then you would tally up the strength versus defense and issue damage. And damage is taken off their main deck. So Torchman can't do anything. So we have finished this first round. Nothing much happened, not very productive. Now it's Torchman's turn. Torchman is going to take the top card from his deck and charge up into his power gauge and then draw a card. If he had more than 5, he would discard down. And you'll see I have very limited options. So I want to play this event card. No, I can't. I can't play the event card right now. And these 2 resources I have, the requirements are too hefty for me at this point. So I can't play any resources, so I go into the main phase, which is, if I can, let's see if I'm able to play. So here I cannot play these battle chips. This one requires 2 resources in play, including of which one must have the Torchman emblem. Again, impossible to tell because it's so pixelated and poor quality, but again, it gets me by. It's fine. This one I can't play because it requires 2 energy in my power gauge, and I do not have that. So, another dead turn. Torchman can't do anything. MegaMan doesn't feel like doing anything either. So we declare the end of the round, and now MegaMan powers up 1. He draws a card, and let's take a look. So we've got 2 worthy opponents, so we can't play both of them, but we can play one of them. So I'm going to place that resource down. I'm able to play it. And I think I'm good at that point in terms of playing resources in my main phase. Now I can do something. So I'm going to do sort of a combination just to show you your potential. So if you noticed, this is a resource that has a spend action. It says add 2 to your Blast Destiny. So I'll get to that in just a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is I don't have any event cards to play, but I can now play this battle chip because I have 2 energy in my gauge and I can play it. So once I do that, your net Navi strength is +2. So I play this one. I'm just going to put it on top of him. So now his total strength is 4. And the next thing I'm going to do is I can do a blast. Now, the blast value on MegaMan is 2. Fortunately, I do have 2 energy in my power gauge. So what I will do is I declare a blast, I flip my 2 energy over, and we are ignoring everything except for the value here. And I get to choose. So obviously I'm going to choose the highest value. This card gets discarded. And it goes into my discard pile. I'm going to add, keeping in mind, I'm ignoring all the text, just the 5, to this. So now I have a total of 7 plus 2, which is 9. So you'll notice that order matters. If I had done the blast first, I would not be able to play my battle chip because my battle chip requires 2 energy. And after my blast, I don't have any. So order matters in the way you play this. So I did the battle chip first. Then I did the blast, and the destiny value is 5. And now I have the option to spend this resource to add 2 to my blast destiny, which I will. So I discard this and I add 2 to that for a total strength of 11. So that's 2, 4, 9, 10, 11. And sorry, I actually jumped ahead too quickly with MegaMan. We're alternating opportunities here in terms of the main phase. So just quickly, he would play his battle chip first. Then Torchman has an opportunity to do something, but he doesn't have, well, he does. He can actually do this. So sorry, I'm going to go quickly backwards. Sorry, I was too eager to show you. So we're going to go back. The first action during main phase, MegaMan played the battle chip. Now it's Torchman's opportunity. Discard a card to cancel a battle chip, but unfortunately, I need to have a blue resource in play in order to play this event card. So let me take a quick look. Maybe there's nothing I can do. It doesn't look like there's anything I can do. So then MegaMan initiates his blast, takes the blast destiny, discards the one that wasn't used. Torchman has an opportunity to do something. He doesn't. We already know that. And then MegaMan spends his resource to add 2 for a total of 11. Torchman does it again, passes, and then MegaMan declares no further action. Torchman has no further action. That is the end of the main phase. We move to the battle phase, which is we compare, tally up the total strength against the defense. It's 11 to 2, so a total damage of 9. And we would take 9 cards from the top of Torchman's deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 into the discard pile. So that was a 9 hit on Torchman. These cards get discarded after the battle. End of the round. Now it's Torchman's turn. Torchman's going to charge up, draw a card. He now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He immediately has to discard down to down to 5. So we're going to discard this one. So now we have 2 energy or 2 power in our power gauge. We are able to play Worthy Opponent, and I will. I cannot play this event card because it's not the main stage yet. And I think I'll go ahead now and move into my main phase, in which case I'm going to play this battle chip because I can. And MegaMan has an opportunity to do something if he can. He doesn't really. He could technically spend this resource to draw a card, but I'm not going to. Because keep in mind, every time you draw a card, that is, since your health is represented by the stack of cards, you're slowly decreasing your health as well by doing that. So I'll go back to Torchman. Torchman isn't going to do anything. He could choose to do a blast, but he's not going to. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to not spend. He's not spending this to add 2 to the. He's not doing a blast destiny, so he's not going to use this resource to add to the blast destiny, and therefore he declares no additional cards to play. MegaMan declares he's done too. So now we exchange the attack value, which is 2, because it's 4 against 2. MegaMan loses 2 off the top of his deck. Okay, this gets discarded. And now MegaMan's turn. He charges up. He draws a card. He doesn't have enough to do anything, so he's gonna skip. There's nothing that Torchman can do, and another dead turn. So we charge Torchman. He draws a card. He is going to. He doesn't have much to play, so he's going to go ahead and he'll go ahead and play this card. He does his battle chip because we're in the main phase. MegaMan has nothing to do, chooses not to do anything, so again we exchange 2 damage to MegaMan. We discard that. Okay, MegaMan charges up, draws a card. We have an event card. We have a resource card, which we're going to play during his resource phase. And we can do an attack at this point. And you'll notice this is something interesting. Typically, during your main phase, you're only allowed to play 1 battle chip. But you'll see I have an event card that allows me to play an additional battle chip. So you do have the ability to stack, especially if you have multiple event cards. There's no restriction to the number of event cards that you can play as long as you meet the requirements. So I think he's going to spend this resource. So we discard this card to draw a card. Okay. So here's something interesting. You'll see that this resource requires at least 1 card with the MegaMan emblem, and his own card counts. The net navi counts. And you can spend this resource to discard 2 cards to make your MegaMan defense +4. So this is an opportunity during Torchman's attack to do something about your defense to mitigate some of the attack value. So aside from that, MegaMan is not going to declare an attack, so we're just going to skip this round. It is now Torchman to go. We've got 4 in his power gauge. He draws a card. We have this ability to spend this resource because it requires 3 energy, no other requirements. So we're going to go ahead and play that. And I think that's it. He doesn't have a lot to do. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll do a blast. So Torchman has a blast value of 2. He's going to flip over his 2 cards starting from the right. I choose the highest value, which is 3, ignoring all the other text. We discard this one. And MegaMan has an opportunity to do something if he can. He can't play this, spend this resource because this has to be a resource that's already in play. And there's nothing that he can do. Torchman isn't going to do anything else. Or can he? He did a blast. Sure, let's do it. Spend this to add 2. So he has a total of 5 plus 2 is 7. MegaMan has nothing else to play. Torchman passes on this next round, or on this this part of the phase. So now we tally up the attack versus defense, and it'll be 5 in total. So 5 cards off of MegaMan's deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Discarded. We discard the Destiny card, and now MegaMan's turn. He powers up, draws a card. We're going to play Power Pastries. And we can also play Heightened Defenses. That could come in handy. And I think that's it. It would be great if we could get another battle chip, but that's okay. So Mega Man's okay. I think what we might do is no, we'll leave that. Not going to attack this turn. It is now Torchman's turn. Charge up, draw a card. He's got a resource he can play. So we're going to play this resource card. And he really wants to do this battle chip, but he can't because he needs 2 red resources, and one of them has to have, including himself, has to have the Torchman emblem. This event card we can't play either. So he's kind of in a rut here. He's not going to do a blast. We're just gonna leave this as is. So it's going to be Mega Man's turn. Mega Man's going to charge up and draw a card. Oh, we have a red resource, which is the same one that we already have. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go right into our main phase. We're going to play this battle chip for +2 to the strength. We see if Torchman wants to do anything. He can. He's going to play this card. He meets the requirement. He has 1 resource in play. That's blue. I discard a card from my hand to cancel a battle chip. So I'm going to play this card. I'm going to discard this card. No, I'll discard this card. I'm going to discard this card to cancel the battle chip that Mega Man just played, and that goes into the discard pile. So it's back to Mega Man's opportunity. He is not going to do much other than do a blast. So we're going to do a blast, which is 2 cards from the right. We choose the highest value, which would be this one. It's 4, and that is the destiny value. We're ignoring all the other text. This one gets discarded. Torchman has an opportunity now to do something, and he can't. There's nothing for him to do. He could technically spend this card, discard a card to make your opponent discard a card, but in this situation, I don't think that's going to help him. So I also want to clarify, when you're doing a blast, only the attacker can do a blast, not the defender. So now Mega Man is going to spend this resource to add 2 to your blast destiny. So I discard that. So now I have a total of 6 plus 2 is 8. And Torchman, again, passes back to his turn. He's not going to do anything. And as the last thing for Mega Man to do, he's going to spend this one to add 1. So that's a total of 3 from spending his resources. That's 7 plus 2 is 9 in total. That is his strength. So Torchman doesn't have anything else to do. Mega Man declares he's finished powering up. And we exchange stats. 9 to 2, so that's 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off of his deck. And we discard this card. And now it becomes Torchman's turn. He charges up, draws a card. Okay, so we're not going to play any resources, but we can play this one. So we're going straight into the main phase. Make your opponent take a random card from his or her discard pile into hand and make your Navi strength 4. I need at least 1 blue resource, which I do. So I play this card to increase my strength to 4. And Mega Man takes his discard pile. I'll just give it a quick shuffle. And then randomly select 1 card that I'm going to add to my hand. And Mega Man has an opportunity to do something, which I think he will. We are going to spend this resource. We're spending this red resource. Discard 2 cards to make your Mega Man defense +4. So I spend it, and now I have to discard from here. I will discard this one, and I will discard. I'll discard this one, and that's it. So now, while you don't see it, it's +4, which basically negates the +4 here. So now Torchman has an opportunity, in which case he's going to do a blast. So he's going to pull over these 2 cards, take the highest value. We're ignoring this text. It's just a blast destiny value of 4. We discard this card. Mega Man has an opportunity to do something, which he cannot. And that's it. He could spend this if he wants to. Spend to burn a power to recharge 2 energy, but I'm not going to do that. Recharging energy basically means you would take 2 cards from your discard pile and add it to the bottom of your main deck. So Mega Man has turned over his turn here. Torchman has nothing else he wants to do, so now we exchange attack and defense values, which in this sense would be 4 in total, because it's 4 plus 4 is 8, which is 10. He has 6 in total for his defense, because it's 2 plus the 4 from his previous card. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 off of Mega Man's deck. And these go in the discard pile. And now Mega Man charges up and draws a card. Okay, so we are going to play this resource. And I think that's it. So we can play this resource because the only requirement, there's no energy requirement, only the requirement of a card in play that has the Mega Man emblem, which is his own. So that's okay. Okay, so Mega Man's going to go straight into his main phase, and he's going to do a blast. So we're doing a blast. We choose the highest value, which is 4. Ignoring the rest of the text, we discard this one. Torchman has an opportunity to do something. He could... well, Mega Man has this opportunity here to discard 2 cards to add 5 to your Blast Destiny. He does have 2 cards, so I think obviously I'm playing against myself. Myself knows myself the best, and this self can't be that self. So we're going to go ahead and sabotage that. So we're going to spend this resource. Torchman's going to spend it. He's going to discard a card to make your opponent discard a card. So I discard this. I discard the card that was in Torchman's hand, the one and only card, to discard a card from my hand here, and I will discard this card. So now because of that action, Mega Man can no longer meet the requirements to spend this card and add 5 to his Blast Destiny. Oh, darn you, Torchman. So that's Torchman's action. Mega Man declines to do any additional actions and passes back to Torchman, who also says, I'm done too. So now we exchange, which is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a close one. And that's it. We discard this. And now we charge up Torchman and we draw a card. So if you'll notice, we're thinning down our decks pretty close. Once you run out, you're done. Now, because this is only a 30-card deck, I could easily just reshuffle the main deck and continue going. But it's a quick game, so if they run out of cards just as from a result of drawing cards or powering up, it is what it is. So I drew a card. Oh, darn. So Torchman is just going to move into the main phase, and he is going to do a blast. He does a blast. Ooh, this is a good one. We get 5. Discard this. Mega Man has an opportunity to do something, and he cannot. Or can he? You may play an additional battle chip. Doesn't do anything for me. So that's it. Mega Man declines to take an action. Torchman declines to do any additional actions. So it's a difference of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that's 5 off of Mega Man's deck. This gets discarded. It now goes into Mega Man's turn where he needs to charge. And once he charges, he can no longer draw a card for his hand. So Mega Man is done. But if play were to continue, you would continue playing back and forth in this manner until you basically chip away at their health, which is represented by their stack of cards, their deck of cards, all the way down to 0 to be declared the winner. So there you go. That is Mega Man NT Warrior trading card game. This is the print and play version. A very simple, straightforward game. You have a bit of resource management because you have a lot of restrictions with the type of cards that you can play, when you can play them. You have to keep track of the color of your resources, how much energy. There is a little bit of balancing. Do you want to do a blast? Do you want to charge up, play out your turn so you have a full 5-bar charge and then do a blast destiny so that you still have some energy left to play event cards or resource cards that you need? Or do you just keep on blasting and blasting and hopefully getting the right destiny cards that you need? I played games where I've been able to stack 2 battle chip cards because I had the right cards, and in addition do a blast with a high destiny value and spend a couple resources which add to my destiny value for a total of maybe 15 damage, and that's like half the stack of health. So it can be interesting, and an enjoyable, quick play, head-to-head battle. For me, I like Mega Man. I enjoyed playing Mega Man 2, so this is why this appeals to me. This may not appeal to everybody, but if you really don't feel like spending $100 on a booster box or $30, $40 on a starter set, you could easily just get the print and play, do what I've done here. If you've got extra Pokemon cards, you print it out, you reinforce it, sleeve them, even just penny sleeves would be fine, and you've got yourself a quick head-to-head battle that you can just carry with you and play against someone or yourself whenever you feel like it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, stay bored.